What up? It's the Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's go for a ride a little bit. Alright, man. I thought about it last night. I ain't gonna go too hard on these guys. I'm not gonna go in too hard on these guys. I'm talking about Durant, LeBron, and Steve Nash. But I am gonna poke them. I'm gonna poke a little bit today. So, just like I said, the NBA community and YouTubers, the usual suspects, they had a lot to say about this Kevin Durant statement on Mind the Game. And after hearing different perspectives, and then I looked at two videos yesterday. One was about 1990s Jordan, man, and the other was about Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem. I think it was Johnny Arnett. Shout out to you. Shout out to Johnny Arnett. I be watching his channel. He be making some real good videos. But 1990 was the year that they didn't win the title. Talking about the Chicago Bulls. But the stuff that Jordan was doing, man. The only one and you know who come close? Shai Gilgeous this year. The stuff Shai Gilgeous was doing, but it ain't on the same level as Jordan, because Jordan wasn't getting the favor of the cause like Shai Gilgeous was, just to be honest. Shai Gilgeous was doing offensive fouling and all that. I mean, he was making some basketball plays more than the shoving, you know. Well, about 50-50. It was about 50-50. But Jordan, man, in 1990, man, that run that the Bulls went on, and that was the year that propelled them into the 91 season, and that was the year that they won the title. That run that Jordan was on was unbelievable. Through the whole playoffs, from the first round till they got put out in the conference finals, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Detroit. Those were the three toughest teams in the Central Division back in them days. And don't think I forgot about the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks wasn't even a factor at that time. It was that can be broken down on its own, the way Jordan systematically knocked down his competition and they didn't get back up. Some of them teams like Philadelphia, New York, Cleveland, like once he knocked them off, they wouldn't back up. They didn't come back up. So he went into great detail about how, you know, the numbers Jordan was putting up, like the numbers that he was putting up against Philadelphia alone, can be made a video could be made about that, man. I mean, like, man. And they were talking about, you know, when the Pistons put him out, and they had Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan there. And just listening to those interviews just makes you remember how classy Jordan was, how, you know, complimentary he was of his team. You know, they were talking about how, you know, they were disappointed about how they got put out. And, you know, they was talking about how Pippen took the brunt of the blame because that was the migraine game. But Jordan said, you know, like, no, we didn't put it all on Scottie, because Scottie was the reason we had the season we had. But, you know, we had to surround him and support him. And you know, like, it's been so many years it's in past, you forget a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? You remember like the major, you know, checkpoints or stuff, but like little small stuff like that. I remember that Jordan, I say it over and over, Jordan and the Bulls, but it wasn't Jordan and the Bulls, it was the Chicago Bulls team. That was a real team. On the real tip, man, that was a real team. Like, they followed in the same lines. They followed behind the Boston Celtics, Detroit Pistons. All three of those teams were teams, even though they had people, like they had Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, of course. But like the team, the other guys on the team were just as important as they were. Everybody got to play a role, man. Everybody plays a role. So then I watched it's a documentary about Wilt and Kareem. I think it's something about anyway, I gotta find it. I think I'm gonna find it. But they were talking about the rivalry between Kareem and Wilt. And Wilt was like, you know, when he was in the league and Kareem was in high school, he used to come from Philly to Harlem to kick it, and he would bring Kareem along. He gave Kareem like clothes, you know, to wear out. You know, he showed him the lifestyle. Kareem just left it at that. He showed him the lifestyle. And, you know, by the time Kareem got in the league, Wilt had flipped the script and started talking trash about him. Talking about he didn't do this. Talking about how he didn't do that. It was wild to see, because a lot of that would remind you of what Wilt was saying and the way he was going about it. Was reminding you of LeBron and Shaq. It reminded me of Shaq, especially the stuff he was saying, talking about, you know, I'm the most dominant, this, that, and other. Wilt was something else, man. Wilt was dominant. Now, you talking about dominant, Wilt was dominant. The only thing was, he just came across teams that were dominant. But Wilt was dominant, man. And Kareem, you listen to Kareem, you were reminded of when all these guys were young, the stuff they used to say. But it was a lot more subtle back then. They was talking about how Kareem, they was talking about how the sky hook, and he was saying, they was talking about how have you had anybody block it? And Kareem was like, well, Wilt got me like a couple of times in my rookie year. That was it. He never got it again. Like, Kareem was like subtly saying he can't get with me. It was nice to see, man. Like, all these guys be having ego, and that comes with being an athlete. Having a huge ego. You have people cheering for you. You're doing, you know, like amazing things on the court or field or whatever. You can start to get pumped up internally with that. And that's just life, man. You know, sometimes you receive favor, and sometimes you lose perspective if you don't have a grounding system. But all these guys that's talking now, they can't even compare to those stories. Those stories I just told you, Durant, LeBron, Gilbert Arenas. We're gonna mention the top. LeBron and KD. They can't compete on. They cannot get with those stories I just told you. That run that Jordan went on, I hadn't seen anybody do that. The only somebody that came close was Kawhi. Kawhi came pretty close when he was in Toronto. That's what made that run so exciting, because it was like Every time he got on the court, he was gonna do something, either defensively or offensively, and he was hurt. That's the reason why it was so hyped to me. But yeah, man, this is only the primer right here, man. This is just the primer. I'm finna come with a couple about the suspects in a minute. Grandpa out for now.